I'm here with Frankie Mann. Can you introduce yourself, Mr. Frankie Mann?
My name now is Frankie Mann. That's not my real name. My real name is Frank Schreiber. I was born in Newark, New Jersey. When I was 4 years old, I started singing, and my father played the piano by ear, which is pretty painful. And he used to accompany me when I'd sing all the songs and go to the lodge meetings and entertain the family. When I reached the age of 9 years old, I was in school, and my music teacher said, "You know, we have an orchestra, we have no trumpet player. And I heard that you play the bugle. Can you ask your mom and dad if they can buy you a trumpet?" Which they did. Got the trumpet, I learned how to finger it, how to play it, came back, and I was the first trumpet player in Maple Avenue School in Newark, New Jersey. Went on to Weequahic High School, still playing the trumpet. I went to school with Jerry Lewis. That wasn't his real name either. His real name was Joseph Lovitch. And we both got thrown out of school because we were talking in the hallway. And everybody in my school had a Jersey accent. And we go around saying, "Hey, how you doing, Jerry?" "Oh, I'm pretty good. How are you, Frankie?" "Oh, hello, Saul. How you doing, Saul?" "Hi, Shirley." And we got sent down to the principal's office because we were talking in the hallway. So we both go down to the principal's office, and Max J. Hertzberg was the principal. And we said, "Mrs. Hertzberg, we're really very sorry that we were talking in the hallway." And the principal said, "Well, that's all right. You just have to stay after school for a couple of days." Then I took up trumpet lessons when I was 9 years old. By the time I was 12, I was playing with all the orchestras around Newark, New Jersey. And the word got out that I was a famous, great trumpet player. And every time a new orchestra would come into the Adams Theater in Newark, New Jersey, on Branford Place, they'd say to the band leader, "There's a great trumpet player, Frankie Schreiber, and he's fantastic. He'll be great for your band." So I would audition for Benny Goodman, who gave me the Ray, and I got nervous. I didn't get that one. I auditioned for Les Brown. I got nervous. Then along came, I think I must have auditioned for 10 or 15 orchestras, and I always got nervous, and I didn't know why. And I realized that when I played in Newark, New Jersey, when we would take an intermission, all the guys in the band would be drinking. So I started drinking, and I played, and I was never nervous. I figured, wow, the next time I go for an audition, I'm going to be drinking, and I won't be nervous. So I went with a band called Joe Marcella. He was a Dixieland jazz clarinet player, and I brought along a bottle of wine, and I drank the wine, took the audition. I played great. So I went on the road with Joe Marcella, and in that band were some great performers like Al Cohn, who was a very good tenor man. And from then on, I went with Buddy Rich and his orchestra, and we were playing in New York City on one-nighters. Then I went up to the Catskill Mountains many years later, and I was the band leader at the Raleigh Hotel in South Fallsburg. And I was very friendly with Buddy Hackett and Lenny Bruce and Alan King. And they all stayed at the Concord Hotel. I was at the Raleigh Hotel, and I'd go to visit Buddy Hackett at the pool, and they'd all be in bathing suits. I always showed up with a white shirt and a tie. And Buddy Hackett changed my name. He said, "Oh, here comes the little man with the tie. Isn't he cute?" So I wanted to become a comedian. So Buddy Hackett said, "I'll give you any material that I use because the joints that you're going to work will never affect my career." So he gave me The Chinese Waiter, a diet bit, a lot of good material. And I was trying to get together to do an act, and I was working at the Casa Seville in Long Island, and there was a great comedian who I think is the funniest comedian that ever lived. He was always on the Dean Martin show, and Dean would open up the closet door, Gene Bayless would come out, and he would start kibitzing and doing bits. Well, here I am playing in the orchestra, and Gene Bayless is the comedian on the show. And every night when I went home, I would try to memorize Gene Bayless's jokes. So I said, wow, I have an act. If I can do Gene Bayless and play the trumpet and do my own jokes and imitate every single great trumpet player exactly as they sounded. Clyde McCoy, Henry Bussey, Herb Alpert, Harry James, Bunny Berrigan, Can't Get Started With You. And then I did the greatest impression of my favorite trumpet player at that time, Louis Satchmo Armstrong. So I put together an hour show. And Buddy Hackett, here I am working and it's a trumpet player in the Boulevard, and I'm picturing myself up on that stage to be a great comedian. And Buddy Hackett said, you can go to see one of my first agents. His name is Billy Clare. He had the smallest office I've ever seen in my entire life. And Billy says, well, kid, where are you playing? I says, I'm not playing. Buddy Hackett told me to come see you, and you'd give me a job. Well, where are you playing? I got to come see your act. I can't book you without seeing you. I said, well, I'll come back at another time. I went back to playing in the band. Comes Friday night, the Boulevard nightclub on Queens Boulevard in the Queens. And I'm in the band, and all of a sudden they're waiting for the show to go on, and the comedian didn't show up. His name was Frankie Mann. He was a drinker, and he probably got too loaded to do a show. So the band says to the owner, put Frankie Mann on. He can be a comedian. So they bring me on. They say, here he is, the comedy star of our show. And I come out of the band, and I did an hour show. And the boss says, you're fantastic. Come back tomorrow night. You'll be the comedian. You'll come from backstage. So I came back Saturday. I never went back to playing the trumpet again. And I've been a comedian all of these years, since I was maybe 18. I enlisted in the Army, and I was supposed to go with the Glenn Miller Band. And when I got into the Army, they said, your position has been filled. You'll have to go into the infantry. The infantry? Well, maybe I can get into special service, and I'll do shows. So they put me into the 39th Special Service. And in my company was the man who created Superman, Jerry Siegel, who became my best friend. He was getting a $10,000 check every week from the Superman people. Also Peter Lynn Hayes, Sabu, the Elephant Boy, the child star Dickie Moore, and a lot of great people. And we put shows on for all of these people. When I came out of the Army, I did a show with Buddy Rich, and after Buddy Rich, I went up to the Catskill Mountains, and I was the band leader at the Raleigh Hotel, and that's where I met all these great stars, Ronnie Graham, Eartha Kitt, Buddy Hackett, Lenny Bruce, Alan King, and that's when I went to the Concord to visit Buddy and Alan, and they were all in bathing suits, and I was white shirt and a tie. And Buddy Hackett said, oh, here comes the little man with the tie. Isn't he cute? And Buddy Hackett always talked from the side of his mouth because his father was in the upholstery business, Hacker Upholstery Company. And Buddy used to answer the phone for his dad. And when he answered the phone, he put the taxi on the side of his mouth, and he talked out of this side of his mouth. And Buddy Hackett and I became very, very good friends. And he gave me his Chinese waiter to do in my act. And my son Christopher once said, you know, you're doing Buddy Hackett's Chinese waiter better than Buddy. I said, thanks a lot, kid. And my son became a very big star. He was in a television series every Saturday morning called Korg 70,000 BC. He also did the first commercial for Chef Boyardee many, many, many years ago. I think he was about 8 years old. On top of spaghetti, all covered with cheese. On top of spaghetti, it's Chef Boyardee. And he became a movie star and did a movie with James Mason. He was on Broadway with 2 shows. He was also with Mildred Dunnock off-Broadway, The Trojan Woman. And I really miss him because he passed this past December 12th. And I'm going to try to carry on for all the dreams that he had of me coming back into show business, which I'm going to perform for you now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.